Today's Ford News, we're going to talk about the latest information on the Ford Bronco, some important information for owners of the Mustang Mach-E, and discuss what we know about the 7th generation Mustang. Now, obviously, we're all fans of the blue oval. We wouldn't be here. And just like many manufacturers, Ford is facing a lot of challenges right now in the current environment. Obviously, one of them is product shortages, one of the main things being microchips. And we've all seen the pictures of thousands and thousands of F-150s sitting in storage lots around the country waiting for these chips so they can be sold. Other issues Ford is having is the Bronco hardtops. Now, the Broncos just started shipping not that long ago, and they were all recalled due to issues with the hardtop. Now, last month I was in Detroit, got to see one of these hardtops in person, and honestly, I get it. The quality was just not there. It's not up to Ford standards, and I understand Ford had to make a difficult decision, but in my opinion, I think it was the right thing because I want to make sure when people get their Bronco, they're getting a high-quality product that you expect from Ford Motor Company. Now, Ford understands that a lot of Bronco owners are getting impatient, and again, understandably so, and they're doing what they can to try to appease their customers. Now, if you do have a Bronco on order, you've received a limited edition print in the mail, and most recently, you actually sent out a hammock to everybody who has a Bronco on order. They will also let you convert your hardtop to a soft top, and they will offer you a credit for a hardtop in the future. I've even heard that actually Ford is going to be offering financial assistance to dealers so they can actually take care of customers on a one-by-one basis if they're upset with the delay of the Bronco. Now again, the Bronco is a killer vehicle. We've got to drive one here, and we know it's going to be worth it when they finally hit, and we applaud Ford for making sure the vehicle is right before they send them out to customers. Now, speaking of recalls, unfortunately, Ford had to issue yet another recall on the Mustang Mach-E. Now, the first one was earlier this year, and it was for subframe bolts and only affected a small amount of Mach-Es. Well, the second one has to do with glue, and that's glue on both the windshield and the sunroof on the new Mach-Es. This is going to affect about 17,000 vehicles for the windshield and about 13,000 that also have the glass roof. The issue was the glue was possibly not applied properly, and in the event of an accident, the glass can actually disengage and come flying out of the vehicle. Now, don't worry, Mach-Es are not going to be driving down the road with the windshield flying out. It's nothing like that. Ford just realizes there could be a potential issue and is getting in front of it and handling it. Now, speaking of the Mach-E, over the weekend I got to drive the Mach-E GT, and I got to tell you, if you can get behind the wheel of one of these things, drive one. Now, I know some of you hate the Mustang name, you hate that it's an SUV, you don't like electric, V8 old school rear-wheel drive forever, and I get that. I love those cars myself, but if you're a performance fan, get behind the wheel of one of these cars. 600 pound-feet of torque, an instantaneous torque throttle response. This thing is fast. 0 to 60, there's not many vehicles that are going to keep up with the Mach-E GT. Now, again, I did feel about 80 miles an hour. It feels like it kind of maybe the rush of torque sort of falls off a little bit and the speed falls off a little bit. But again, at that speed, the car is very, very quick. And who knows, in the future, tuners may get their hands on these cars and be able to actually change that power band so that car pulls even more and more. But again, whether you like it or not, if you're a fan of performance and you have the opportunity to drive one, I highly suggest you do so. Now let's talk a little bit about the Mustang, and in particular the 7th generation, the S650 Mustang. Now, originally Ford had discussed that was going to be available in 2023 and show up in late 2022, which means at this point, if that timeline is correct, the S650 should be only about a year away. Now again, with all the issues with microchips and product shortages, that timeline may change, but honestly at this point, who really knows what's going to happen? Ford has been pretty hush-hush about the S650. There's been a bunch of information that has come out. A couple things have been wrong and been changed, but they've really done a good job of kind of keeping it quiet what their plans are going to do. Now, at one point, it was supposed to be the CD6 chassis, which is the Explorer chassis, which everybody, including myself, getting excited about an all-wheel drive version of the Mustang, which the S650 would be amazing in all-wheel drive. Now, at this time, though, it seems like the CD6 is not going to be used, and the 650 is just going to be an updated version of the S550. So we can expect exterior changes for sure, definitely a refreshing front to back, and in my opinion, we're going to see a lot of interior changes. If you've seen the new Mustang, like the Mach-E, the F-150s, the interior is getting huge upgrades, larger screens, a lot more lighting, all that kind of stuff. I think is going to trickle down to the S650 when it comes out. Now, engine choices. The 2.3 is obviously sticking around, as is the 5-liter, and supposedly the 5.2 will also stick around in the GT500. As far as other engine options, well, that remains to be seen. Last year, the Canadian Union Unicor's president talked about the new 6.8 liter being built at the Windsor engine plant, and he kind of hinted that could be used in both the F-150 and the Mustang. Now, a big motor like that in the Mustang would be an absolute blast, but again, Ford is tight-lipped on this. They are not saying at all whether that engine is going to show up or not. So again, at this point, we have to wait. Things we do know is going to happen. There will be a hybrid of the new S650. Will it happen in 2023? Probably not. At this point, Ford's saying probably a couple years down the road. As far as a full electric Mustang, well, the Mach-E is kind of filling that void for now, so it might be a few years later till we see that. But whatever the S650 happens to be, we're going to get our hands on one here at CJ Pony Parts as soon as possible and bring in the installation content that we know you guys absolutely love. So again, if you haven't hit it already, click that subscribe button so you get these future updates on the Mustang S650.